Good morning, everyone. I'm Jason Young. I'm a staff member of Denton Freedom House. What we are a nonprofit 501c3 organization where we help men and women in addictions. We're a Christian faith-based organization. And so like many rehabs that cost thousands and thousands of dollars, we do all we do for free. We have a men's home and a women's home. It's a 6-month program. I'm gonna go into a little bit more details, but what we do is, the nonprofit side is we want those people in addictions to be able to not walk in those addictions, and so we give them a foundation of Christ, and so that's our main focus is a life in Christ, but also walks in sobriety. 3 entities. So we have, this is the logo for the men and women's home. We also have a coffee shop, Zara Coffee and Events here in Denton. And then we also have a Freedom Food Pantry, and that makes up Denton Freedom House. Space bar.
Okay, so let's take it a second. Yeah, let's hit it down.
Okay. Denton Freedom House Ministries, our vision statement is every broken life mended. We want to see people's life change, and so we want those broken lives that are riddled with addiction, we want them changed. Down arrow. Cool. So this is the men's home. This is an aerial view. We're on 18 acres of land out in Aubrey, Texas. It started a man named Jeremy Adams. Life was riddled with crack addiction. He's living on the streets, and someone found him and brought him into his personal home and began to tell him about Christ, and that changed his life. And so he ended up going to seminary, coming back to his environment in Denton. He began to do the same thing, bringing men off the street into his personal house. And the city of Denton found out and said, hey, he had 11 men living with him. And the city of Denton said, hey, that's too many people in your house. And so he told his church was Denton Bible at the time. And Denton Bible gave him this property that they own, 18 acres of land down in Aubrey for $10 back in 2006. And so that's where we currently are now. That's just a view of the men's home as you driving up the driveway there. This is how it looks inside. And so there's 5 men to a room. You share a bathroom, you share a closet, and this is kind of looking down the hallway. And so it's a dorm type environment. Many of these people are coming off the streets, coming out of prison, and so when they get to this environment, they are joyful. It's 12 rooms down this room. Every room is, if you know anything about the 12 tribes of Judah, every room is named a tribe of Judah. That's just a picture of the class. And so when you in our program for the first 180 days, you get a lot of volunteers coming in, and they're teaching you biblical principles. And so we have a lot of classes, and all the men are required to sit in class. You don't have to be a Christian when you come, but you have to understand that that's what our foundation is. And so many sign up because they want a new life in Christ. And so that's just a picture of the class.
Is that at the residence?
This is the residence of the home right here.
That's a big room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, is that room at the?
Yes, this is our chapel. And so some nights, this is probably a Tuesday night. Tuesday night, every man on property are required to come to class. Even if you are intern, phase 1 is the first 6 months. Phase 2 is the second additional 6 months that we allow the resident to stay. And that, let me just give a background. First 6 months, we want you to just focus on your foundation. And so you don't work, we provide everything for you. Well, we don't just kick you out when you graduate after the first 6 months. We want you to be successful out in the community. So we'll allow you to stay on property for an additional 6 months where you can get you a job. If you don't have your legal documents, we want you to get your driver's license. Many of them don't have their birth certificates, social security cards, so we help you get all those things. So when you go back out to the community, you can go get a job, you can be successful. And so we'll allow you to stay on property. And so on Tuesday nights, every man that's on there, we can hold up to 60 men on property currently right now. you're required to come to class. So this is probably a Tuesday class, most likely. The next one of our volunteers, George Quinn, if you know him in the community. Women's home. So our women's home was established in 2020.
It's on the same property?
So the women's home is away from the men's property currently. Our desire is to build on our land right now, because we have 18 acres, but right now our women's home is out in Denton. The men's home is in Aubrey. And so this was established in 2020. Of course, we see addictions in women as well, and so we wasn't able to accommodate it, but now we are. We have a women's home. We can hold up to 11 women right now, and this is some of our graduates. Actually, some of these women have already graduated. Every woman and man, but when you come in the home, you get your hands laid on. We pray over you, pray over your life, and that's just some of the pictures of the women that has been through our program. Right now, we have 11 women, new women, right now, currently in our home. And there's a house mother that lives at the house 24 hours, and so she's able to run the home.
What if they have children?
That's a good question. If we have children, you are asked, it's kind of a two-sided. So most of the women that come to us, they don't have custody of their kids. Because their life has been, challenged in and out of drugs, and they're living the life where they're not a part of their kid's life. That's most of the time. So if you do have children, you have to agree to, for the first 6 months, to have someone care for them. We haven't ran into a situation currently like that, because most of the women that come to us are not in their kids' life, sad to say. But same with the men as well.
So Jason, just a question. It says established 2004.
So that's just our logo. That's Denton Freedom House is a whole ministry 2004.
Okay, but the house was
But
2006.
but the property came to us in 2006.
Okay.
But as a 501c3, it began in 2004. Out of his personal house. He began doing it out of his personal house first. Another part of our ministry is a Freedom Food Pantry, which is in 2019. If you know the old smokehouse on Fort Worth Drive, the restaurant, we're behind that. It was a pantry called Shepherd's Hand. That was kind of, they weren't able to keep doing the work they was doing, and so they asked us to take over. We took over that pantry and renamed it to Freedom Food Pantry in 2019. And that's just the opening day right there. And it's just some stats. In 2023, this is how much we were able to feed. 24,000 boxes of food, approximately 4,000 families served out there in the year, and 300 tons of food. And then someone donated us a food truck. We were getting so many donations from Tarrant Area Food Bank, Winco, Kroger, Walmart, Chick-fil-A, lots of places that donate us food. The majority of the people we serve are homeless. They don't have refrigerators to freeze their food, so we get a lot of food that they can take that day. We're the second largest, not in building, but the second largest in the amount of people we feed in Denton County. We're probably the first, because they only measure that by the amount of food that Tarrant Area Food Bank gives us, not by all the other places they give us. So we're the second largest in Denton County. We're the only client-served pantry where it's like a grocery store. You can walk in and get your food off the shelves versus us giving you a box of canned goods, tomato paste, or whatever that you don't eat. So we service over 180 families a day out there, and it's pretty big. If you could be praying for us, our lease ends in June. The amount of traffic that we have over there is kind of getting to the people around there, so they're ending our lease, and so we're looking for a new building.
How many square feet do you need?
We need a lot.
Ken will build it for you. He's just saying.
I'll get with you, because I don't know that number, but I can find it out. We need a lot. We need a building. We need a building. We need a lot. We need one with a bay door, all that. We need, because we got trucks backing up to that thing, and yeah, it's a blessing. This has been a blessing in a lot of people's lives. That's just some pictures from the pantry. Some of the food items we get, we get truckloads of things. and this is inside. So that's why I said the largest. We're not the largest in building wise, but we feed a lot of people, and so they're able to come in and get things. Meat. We have vegetables, everything that they need. We're inside of Braswell High School as well. We have a 2-day pantry on Wednesdays and Fridays. Denton ISD reached out to us and said, we need some help. Some of the students in that area were going home hungry, and so we set up inside of Braswell High School where we have a food pantry as well. It's small, but kids are able to go in and get things for their families as well. We feed over 250 kids every day. We're in there 2 days a week. $260. My numbers are off. So that's just some of the work that we're doing in that school. Also, part of our ministry is Zara Coffee. You know, that's on 420 East McKinney. It's a regular, full-functioning coffee shop with lattes, espressos, regular coffee. But all the proceeds from that coffee shop come back to the men and women's home. It was established in 2009.
Sandwiches.
They do sandwiches. Yeah, they're really good too.
What's the word Zara?
Zara is the Hebrew word for seed sower. And so the thought going into that is we wanted to sow seeds in the community of community fellowship, hope, and have an environment for anyone to come in and just be at peace. And so it's kind of it's a Christian background. To be honest with you, if you go in there, there's a lot of Bible studies that's taking place. There's business meetings going on in there, and it's just a good environment to go into. So the thought was to put it in the heart of Denton, right off the square, to sow seeds in that community.
That building has always had seats.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was hard
Our pools before.
And it used to be like a furniture restoration place too, right?
Harpools for years, and that's where the caboose sat behind that forever. There was a train caboose that was sitting there.
Right where that picture is.
Yep.
shown.
Because there were tracks right there.
One of my favorite
Point
places in Denton.
Yeah.
Point Bank has their monthly
One Bank
meeting.
has their breakfast in there. Not this year, but they stopped in January, but they
Oh,
were
really?
having their breakfast in there every month. Which I'll give you some pictures. So we're now at an event center right here. So we have events in there.
That's at Zara.
That's there too. So we did some renovations during COVID. This was the patio. If you ever went in the old, it was a patio. Well, we enclosed the patio and made an event center. And now we have events, Christian concerts, gatherings, men's conferences, women's conferences. There was a science and information conference there a while back. So these are some of the pictures. These are volunteers who volunteer there. We call it Coffee with a Cause because all the proceeds come back to the men and women's home. Just gonna give a little background on my story. So this is me. How I got involved with Denton Freedom House. I was addicted, alcohol, pills, in and out of jail, hopeless. I had battle with depression, in and out of mental hospitals even for depression, and my life was just riddled with addiction. Started when I was probably in high school. It got really, really bad when I came to Denton. No offense to Denton. But when I came to college here, it got really, really bad. I did manage to do a 14-year stint at UPS. One day my boss came to me and said, Jason, you got to go get help. There's something going on. And so that was my road to recovery. And so I found Denton Freedom House from one of my wife's friends. Say, hey, check out this program. And I went into 2019 and I never looked back. And God set me free from those addictions. Restoration happened. Me and my wife are still married 20 years. 20 years in October, actually. 20 years married, yeah. My wife, Stacy, many know her. She works out in the community. She's been a part of MC Sweeps for a lot of years. And this is my family, my kids. Restored back to my kids' life. I was in and out of their lives, but God restored those relationships back. Actually, my daughter right here is about to graduate Howard University in May. So yeah, God has done a lot of work to restore that. But it started, my road started at Denton Freedom House. And so it'll be 5 years sober in July 19th. This is my contact information. If you have any questions about Denton Freedom House, I mean, this is kind of a brief overview. If you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer it for you. We are a nonprofit, and so we do everything we do for free. And so if you have a business that you want some, we do a lot of sponsorship opportunities with a golf tournament, our galas, and things like that. If you have a heart to give, please reach out. A lot of volunteers, we need volunteers. Most of our ministry is ran by volunteers, and so we need help as well.
You said golf tournament?
Golf tournament.
When is
The golf tournament this year is May 17th. May 17th. I sent Josh the information. Yes, sir.
Is Jeremy Adams still involved?
He's just the founder. Currently, he's a missionary. He's a part of a ministry that travels and train leaders of churches and build churches all over the world. So he's a part of that. So he's still the founder. He comes in and out, but his heart is on missions, and so he's been a missionary for many years. I'm actually going on a mission trip with him this year.
Sorry, how many paid staff do you have?
24. We have a CEO, we have a chief financial officer, and growth and development department. It's about 6 of us. Then we have some staff members that live on the property, and women staff that live at the women's home. We have some facility people that fix everything that breaks. So yeah, about 24.
Jason, you were saying it's 18 acres, right? So,
18.
And the photo that you showed in the first slide is it still the same over these years? Has any of that changed?
No.
The footprint?
No, where is it at? No, sir. This. Well, you're
That's
right.
a lot of land.
So this picture is missing. There's a trailer here, and then there's a trailer. Where it is, right there. So there's a trailer here. That's the only thing, which is that staff housing. So we're going into a capital campaign at the middle of this year. And so what it is, we can't build on our land because we're on a septic, and the septic is full. So in order to build on your land, you need a water treatment for land this size. You need somewhere to have a water treatment. So that the cost of that it's like $750,000 that we priced it. Well, 2 years ago we reached out to this company to price it and to get that rolling. And so we're going to raise the money because we need that to build on our land. We want to build like staff offices and more staff housing, and we want to build a women's home. We want to build our women's home back here. This is the men's home. We want to double that. We can only hold 60 men, and so we have to turn men away. We have to turn women away. So we want to build and double this, make it 2-story. Same with the women's home in the back, so we can have more people come. And we want to build staff housing, but we needed the $750,000 treatment, water treatment. So this company, we reached out, we priced it, and just this year, in January, 2 years ago, we asked them. January, the owner called us and said, "Hey, did y'all ever get that figured out?" And we was like, "No." And he said, "I'm going to come do it." And so he agreed to come do all the work for free just in January. And so it's going to begin, so they're going to begin construction on that this year.
Construction on a new home?
No, on the water treatment.
Oh,
So I guess we need like a feasibility study, all that stuff. Anyway, the company just took care of all and they just said, "We'll do it all for free." And so, and that's what, we was praying about it, but we was praying like the money, but God said, "Don't give it free." And so after that water treatment, now we're able to build on our land. And so we're
Where is this in Aubrey?
if you know Green Valley, You go on 428 Aubrey, like Sherman toward Aubrey. There's a street, Green Valley.
Mm-hmm.
Going down, you make a left on Green Valley. There's a dirt road, trails in, right there. You know that store, right? It's a store going down it. We're right behind that store.
And the race car on top.
Yes.
Yeah, our turkey roll actually goes by that way. So
So,
Our goal is to build more buildings, and on this land to utilize all of our land, and we're going to have some agri-scaping too as well, where we're growing food and all that. And so it's going to be beautiful. It's like a 5-year project.
is that county or is that the town of Aubrey though?
It's still Denton County.
Okay.
Denton County.
Well, but if you're not in a city,
Are you in the Aubrey city limits?
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
because that changes things.
Yeah. So we need like all these city permits. That's above me. But we need I know we need like city permits to do all kinds of stuff. But those things are working out right now. And from my understanding, things are going to start taking place this summer, later this summer.
Just I even know even right now in the city of Denton,
Yeah.
there are sections that have not been incorporated into the city,
Yeah.
and it's just county.
Yeah.
And so when the city goes, well, you need to do, and they go, I'm not in the city.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many permits and so many check marks we have to do, but we're wanting to get it done. So.
so you've got this facility, you've got pantry and zeros.
And the women's home we
Oh,
lease.
so you've got four.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You've got 4 areas. So you guys are stretched. That's a lot to cover. Where do you guys need help? Volunteer, yeah.
Volunteer.
What kind of volunteers?
So we need volunteers at our pantry. The men and the women, when they're in our program, they are working at the pantry and the coffee shop. The volunteers, and I mean volunteers that are able to, how do I say this? Not just only, like if you're at the pantry, not just only hand out food, but also be a light to those people there. Because when those people come in for food, I mean, on their sheet, it says how many people you have in your family, and then it says prayer requests. So these people actually fill it out. I got 8 people in my house, and I need prayer for this. So we actually, when they come in, we're praying for people as well. We're not just handing them food. We're like, really want to tend to their needs. And so when I say volunteer, I mean, you have to be ready for that. And there's a lot of people come to that pantry every day. So it's a task. So we need people that'll be there, standing there, giving people hope as they're getting food off those shelves. Yes, sir.
And you've got some comments and some suggestions on that as far as us getting involved. Is that so? There's they call them WOWs, Women on Watch,
Sure.
for the women's home. That you can actually go and volunteer, 4 or 6 hours, and just stay there with the women and give break to the staff. So you can go there and do that with them. My wife used to actually do that at the women's home.
Yeah.
And you can also just go out there, set it up that if you want to go out there as men and just hang out with them, have dinner with them, that really helps out a whole lot, just coming alongside men and just talking to them, so a lot of times they just have to stay there, and they got visitation one day a week after a certain period of time, but they love to have people from the outside to actually talk to them. One of the events that we could do as far as a Kiwanis group and get involved in is they generally around New Year's try to actually have a big meal for the homeless community. So they will bring people in and they try to do it up big. So they're generally looking for partners to actually fund that. So that is something that we could actually consider.
Thanks for mentioning that. This year's in May. We usually do it January 1st, but we've run into trouble with the weather. And so we're doing it in May this year. It's called Freedom Feed'em. And we invite all the homeless community out. And I mean, there's barbers out there giving haircuts. There's people feeding them. We got tons of food, clothes, resources, and things like that. And we call it Freedom Feeding. We do it once a year.
What's the day? Do you know?
I think it's May 5th, but I'll give a Ken.
What's
I'll
that?
give him-
At the,
It's at Zara in the parking lot. It'll be at the.
Gotcha.
So it's not out here. So what we do is do it at Zara's parking lot.
Is it usually on a Saturday or Sunday?
It's usually on a Sunday. We do it Sunday.
so the Zara's
I think it's
facility,
May 5th.
Yeah, that's a Sunday.
Yeah, May 5th.
is there ownership at Zara's or is that a lease?
We lease that. That whole block is owned by someone, and we lease it. Twice as nice in Monroe Pearson.
Probably the Harpool family still owns the property. They just shut it down.
I think it's Tim and Tish Beatty.
Tim Beatty building?
Gotcha.
Ah, I know Tim Beatty.
Any other questions? Y'all got good questions. It's like not a part of my style. But
Where is the women's home?
we keep it that kind of off
Oh, okay.
location because some of those women come out of abusive backgrounds
Okay.
and things like that. And so, but it's in Denton. But if you volunteer as a woman, you'll know where it's at.
Okay.
We don't have an address just readily out. The men's home address is on the website.
Does Twice as Nice work with y'all
As far as
as far as volunteer, and I mean, their money, any chance their money goes to y'all?
no,
Twice as nice.
Twice as right.
Fundraiser for woman to woman.
Yeah, they're another nonprofit.
Okay.
But it's interesting. They hire some of our graduates. Actually, the manager over there is one of the graduates right now. The manager of the store is a graduate, Denton Freeman. He graduated about 2 years ago. He's the manager at
And
Twice.
is it only 6 months or can they stay longer?
So you can stay as long as you want, really, but not on that property. But once you finish the first 6 months, we'll allow you to stay another 6 months. There's some qualifications you have to have, like a job. We ask you to save money, and once you complete those things, get all your legal documents. We have phase 3 houses, so it's houses out in Denton that we rent, that we allow them in. Currently, it's only men, but we allow them to stay there. Once you get to that stage, you can stay as long as you want. As long as you want the accountability and you're doing good, yeah, we'll allow you to continue to stay.
So question, yes. Do you guys do outreach, marketing? That's kind of hard. What I'm getting at is like the bike rally that we do
Yeah.
once a year. If you have a group that would go out and maybe host one of our rest areas, we have 9 rest stops on our bike.
Okay. So you need yeah.
Just an idea.
We do so. I was actually at Portillo's all day yesterday. I don't know if
Okay.
y'all knew that. Portillo's restaurant opening event. They allowed us to, well, they actually reached out to us because of our food pantry. And they allowed us to stand outside of their restaurant from 11 to 8. Well, I left about 9:30 last night. And they handed out free food, but they just asked for donations to the Denton Freeman. So we do that. We do those kind of stuff all the time. And
I think it's a great idea to maybe actually go ahead and trade. We go and help them with the Freedom Feed'em, event that they're doing in May, and they agree to go ahead and host a rest stop for us.
Yeah.
They would love to do that.
So when
give me the information of the dates, yeah.
So when you do the rest stop, you'll go there. You can have your tarps. You can have everything that you have your information. You have your information for the riders. We'll provide other volunteers. The Key Club here, they volunteer to help out at the different rest stops. Bananas, cookies, and all the. You just need to be there, really running it, and to give out your information. So
Yeah.
that's.
We would love to do that. We do it all the time. Like all the festivals, we get tables and things like that. And so we're out. We were just on the square a couple of weeks ago with First United Bank, handing out some stuff. And so we love to do stuff like that. Get out in the community. Absolutely.
Well, this will be getting bigger than the community. We have close to 1,000 people who come in from,
Let's
and
go.
some people come in from California
Let's
and
do it.
other states. So the word is going to get out.
Let's do it. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes,
All
sir.
right, ready?
I talked to a girl one time that was a homeless person. I asked her where she spent the night. She said she slept in the park. I said, why don't you have a job? She said, I don't have any ideas. How difficult is it for a person to get ID, or whether they're going to get ID so that they can, live a normal life?
Well, it's a challenge for sure, but the
Can
state.
I actually
Go
have the
ahead.
answer for that.
Go ahead.
So, Norm, on that one, Serve Denton. If you
Yeah.
go to, if the person goes to Serve Denton, there's a group there that will actually help them. From what I understand, it takes anywhere between 2 weeks to, in some cases, months to get an ID. But that is actually something that people really need, because you can't get in a program, you can't rent anything without that ID. So, but there are people there who will help them do that.
So the problem often is if they've been arrested, right, and they don't have an ID. They get their driver's
Well-
license taken away for DUI or something.
Well,
Yeah.
the problem that is, if they are homeless, it's been lost, stolen.
Right.
So, and then they don't know where to start, or they don't have the money to go and get another ID. So that's part of it. So, but yes, there is somebody. Serve Denton will actually help with that.
And it takes, sometimes the process takes a while,
Yes.
because I mean, they gotta get birth certificates and all that kind of stuff, but it's doable. It's a process though.
But they will help you walk through it.
So we accept people in our program without all that, because we wouldn't be able to hold hardly anyone if that was the issue. So we'll accept them in just based on, hey, my name is John Smith. Okay, come on. And then once you go through our program after 6 months, we'll send you to those services to say, hey, go try to get your ID, and we'll give you time. And I've never seen anyone that can't. Everyone that I've never heard of any story from our program where someone say, hey, I can't get my ID. It's doable. It just takes paperwork and it takes some time.
You know, the great thing about getting that ID and going through that is they do have you in the system. If you're missing, so if somebody's looking for you,
Yeah.
then they can try to connect you with those loved ones, because you need that support system.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you have any kind of warrants or anything like that, that's worked out a different way. But I'm not trying to scare you on that one. But
it's actually good. A good thing, if you're looking for your ID and you're trying to get that, if you got a jail record. If you got a jail record, then it's useful. Because then they can just look at your jail record and say, okay, this is where you are, this is who you are. Yeah. So that's when your jail record comes in good for you.
How do you handle people who are basically not born in the United States and possibly not here legally?
We have had people that are like Mexico, from Mexico. That's the only problem we ran into. But we accepted people that don't speak English before. But we have a Spanish speaking. Yeah, we have a guy that lives on property that does that. We've done that, and they've graduated. I don't know the story of how. I think he went back to Mexico. I'm not exactly sure because it was a while back. But we've had those issues where people are not citizens, right? We will accept them in our program, but as far as their documentations and all that, I'm not sure how they work that out with them. Is that?
That's it.
Okay, all right, thank y'all.
Don't look I know you have access to coffee.
I do. I drink a lot of coffee. Black. I like straight black coffee.
Instead of that, you can put it in this.
I appreciate
So
that.
this is thank you for coming.
Yeah.
This is our different response club. What we built on here. Our motto is serving the children. And these are the key clubs and different clubs that we actually saw.
Cool.
So check it out.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
He's the
Oh,